So you're swimming in data, right? Numbers are absolutely everywhere. But how do you actually make them tell a story? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We're going to demystify Matplotlib, this awesome Python library that lets you turn all that raw data into visuals that actually mean something. Let's jump right in.
So let me ask you something. Do you speak data? Because let's be honest, in its raw form, data can feel like a totally foreign language. Without the right tools, it's pretty much just a bunch of noise. What you really need is a translator to help you uncover the story that's hiding inside.
Okay, take a look at this. A simple table of numbers. You've got your X column, your Y column, but so what? What does any of it mean? Seriously, on its own, a list like this is just static. It doesn't communicate anything important. It gives you the what, sure, but it gives you absolutely zero of the why. And hey, even if you go a step further and actually plot these numbers, you can still miss the mark entirely. As one programmer put it so perfectly, a basic plot without any context just isn't helpful. It doesn't tell you what the data is really about. You see a line going up, but a line of what? We're still completely in the dark, still missing that story.
And that, right there, is the whole point of this explainer. Data is just a collection of numbers, but a great plot, that's a story. And Matplotlib, well, that's the tool that helps turn you into the storyteller.
All right, enough talk. Let's get our hands dirty. We are going to create our very first plot. And I promise it's only going to take a few seconds. This is all about getting that quick win, something to build your confidence right out of the gate.
It's just 4 super simple steps. 1. Make sure you've got Python installed on your machine. 2. Pop open your terminal and type pip install matplotlib. 3. You're going to write a tiny little script. And 4. You run it and see the magic happen. Seriously, that's all there is to it. And check out how simple the code actually is. I'm not kidding. These are what I call the 3 magic lines. You import the library, you tell it what data you want to plot, and then you tell it to show the plot. Boom. With just these 3 lines, you've officially made your first data visualization. How cool is that? But making a plot is really just the beginning. To make a great plot, one that tells a clear and compelling story, we need to follow a few rules. Let's call them the 4 golden rules for turning a basic plot into a professional presentation. All right, let's kick things off with golden rule number 1. This one is huge. Before you even think about writing a single line of code, you need to plan. Just take a second and ask yourself, what's the story I'm trying to tell here? And what's the best kind of chart for this data? Mailing down your message and keeping your formatting consistent, that's the foundation for every great plot you'll ever make. Okay, moving right along to our second golden rule. This one is all about context, and wow, this slide says it all. Look at the before plot. It's just a line. It means absolutely nothing. But then look at the after plot. It tells a story. Just by adding a title and labeling our axes, we've transformed a random squiggle into a clear human population simulation. See, context is absolutely everything. Rule number 3 is all about using the cool tools that Matplotlib already gives you. This is all about adding clarity. If you've got multiple lines on your chart, you need a legend. Think of it like the key on a map, right? It tells your viewer what each line represents. And you can also use annotations to point a giant flashing arrow at the specific data points you really want your audience to notice. And that brings us to our 4th and final golden rule. This last one is all about the final polish, and it's all about your audience. First, when you save your plot, export it with a high DPI. That stands for dots per inch, and it's what makes your image look crisp and professional, not blurry. Second, and this is super important, think about accessibility. Choose color schemes that are easy for everyone to read, including people with color vision deficiencies. So we've got the rules for success down. Now let's flip it around and talk about what can go wrong. We're going to cover 4 super common traps that almost every beginner falls into. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to sidestep them. Okay, trap number 1. I call it the ghost plot. You've probably been there, right? You write all this code, you run the script, and nothing happens. The window with your plot never shows up. The fix is so simple, it's almost funny. You just forgot to explicitly tell Matplotlib to show it to you. Always end your script with plt.show. Next up, the crowded mess. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Your title crashes into your axis labels, everything's a jumbled, unreadable mess. Luckily, Matplotlib has a one-line miracle fix for this, plt.tight_layout. It's like a magic wand that automatically adjusts all the spacing to make everything neat and tidy.
Now, trap number 3 can be genuinely dangerous. It's the misleading comparison. This happens when you're comparing two different plots, but their axes are on totally different scales. You can accidentally end up telling a story that's completely false. To keep things honest and accurate, you've got to use plt.xlim and ylim to lock your axes into a consistent scale.
And our final trap is a classic programmer's mistake, the length mismatch. This is what happens when you try to plot, say, 10 x values, but you only have 9 y values. The numbers don't line up. Matplotlib will throw an error, and the fix is just to be a little careful. Always double-check that your data arrays have the exact same number of points before you try to plot them.
All right, so we've covered the basics, the golden rules, and the traps to watch out for. You now have the fundamental toolkit you need to start telling your own stories with data. So let's do a super quick recap of the key takeaways. 1. Always plan your message before you write any code. 2. Label everything clearly. No excuses. 3. Know the common traps so you can avoid them. And most importantly, never forget that every plot you create is an opportunity to tell a compelling story. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Hidden inside every dataset you have is a story just waiting to be told. The only question left is, what are you going to make it say?